This is Local 4 News at 5.
As the 4th of July approaches, it is important to remember our veterans and our service members. Many vets come home, however, from deployment with PTSD. Dr. Jeffrey Wyneth is here from Genesis to talk about PTSD, and Dr. Wyneth has served in the military and is still in a reserve unit, so he's very familiar with PTSD as it relates to a military experience. Thanks so much for being here and sharing today.
Thank you.
Of course. Let's talk about how common PTSD is, especially in veterans.
Well, it's not common, but it's certainly not uncommon. The lifetime prevalence in men is about 4%. In women, it's higher. It's close to 10%. At any one time, about 8% of the population could have experienced PTSD at some point in their life. But in military veterans, it's much higher, 2 to 3 to 4 times that much, especially in Vietnam veterans, which have the highest rate of PTSD.
We can imagine, because of everything that they have to go through, the things that they see. Is it caused by one single traumatic event, or does it have to be multiple events?
It can be either. One event is enough to cause PTSD. Often we see it's caused by repeated traumatic events, but there's certainly many people that have been diagnosed with PTSD that has been caused by one traumatic event.
Now, there's a lot of talk right now, a lot of talk about suicide, mental health. PTSD, do you think that's a cause of suicide in veterans? I mean, do you think that's one of the driving factors behind it?
Well, any mental health issue puts you at risk for suicide. It puts you at a higher risk category, and so certainly PTSD could cause that. And if you think that a number of military veterans may have a higher rate of PTSD, then that would put them at a higher risk for suicide.
Now, let's talk about some of the symptoms of PTSD. What should people look for if they think someone might be suffering from it?
I think that the things that people notice most are just changes in behavior, fairly drastic changes in behavior, a lot of anger, irritability, withdrawing, more moodiness, depression, sleep disturbances, not wanting to be around people they're normally around, or experiencing things they normally experience that they enjoy. I think the biggest thing that we see that usually triggers coming in to see a psychiatrist or a mental health professional is just changes in mood and behavior, a lot of anger.
And there are treatments out there.
Oh, there are a lot of treatments, not just medications. I think people get concerned and they say, well, I don't want to go on medication, so I'm not going to get this treated. But there's a lot of treatments that don't involve medication also. And I think the first key is just identification. If you think that something might be going on, go in and see and get the help you need. And you may not have to go on medications, and treatment may not be long-term, but I think getting identification is the most important part.
And don't be afraid to speak up.
That's right, exactly.
All right, thanks so much for joining
Thank
us,
you.
Dr. Wyneth. Still